Hi, welcome back to the tutorial. So in this session we are going to see about the input and output functionalities in Python, like how to get input from the user and how to print the output for the user. Okay, so in the previous videos we have just covered the print function, right? So the print function is nothing but it takes some argument, like it takes some argument. It can be an string, list, dictionary, or any kind of object it take, and it print the content in that particular object. Okay, so basically like this. So print hello. So if you execute that, it will print hello, and maybe you can give a, a list argument as well. So it will print whatever the content in that list. It can take any type of argument. You can give a dictionary or any object in that case. Okay, so this is the basic functionality of the print function, but this has some other arguments as well. So we will see everything in this in detail. Okay, so if you look at this slide here, these are all the arguments we can pass to the print function. So the first one is the object. So object, it is not limited to a single object. You can pass n number of objects. So in Python, if you see this asterisk a or gs means it can take infinite number of arguments. Okay, so we will talk about these when we come to the function declaration and definition part. Okay, so as of now you understand, like this particular print function can take n number of arguments, as well as it takes some other arguments like SCP means separator, end, file, flush. So these special arguments as well it can take. Okay, so let me explain that with an example. So as I said, the input is not limited to a single one. So here in this case you can see hello world. Okay, so if I execute this one, it will print both the arguments. So here I am passing two arguments. You can assume print is a function, and to this function I am passing hello world. So this is not limited to one or two. You can pass n number of arguments. Okay, so in addition to this actual data, you can pass the additional arguments like what I mentioned here is separator, right? So by default the separator is going to be space. So if you want to override that space, you can specify here. So I can specify like I want to have the separator like this. So I want to use the pipe symbol instead of space. So if I execute this one, you can see here hello pipe world. Okay, you can use anything like this. So in this case, the arguments, the data arguments will be separated by whatever you are passing in the separator. Okay, I hope you are getting what I am saying. Okay, and next argument is end. So at the end of this data, right, by default a new line will be printed. So the default argument for end is new line. Okay, if I don't specify this one, it will by default it will print a new line. So if I don't want to print a new line means, then I can just give a null argument, I mean empty string. So in this case a new line will not be printed. So we can see this if I use another print function, test 1, test 2. Okay, so if I execute this, here you can see, right, after this hello world, test 1 is printed, no new line is printed, but after the test 1 new line is printed. After that only this test 2 is printed, because by default it will take end of the line as new line. Okay, so that's all about the end argument. And another one is the file argument. By default whatever output you are printing, right, that will be printed into your console. Okay, So we can change this one as well. So if you want to just redirect any output to your file or any other output directory, you can just specify that. So let's say I want to create one file. Okay, let's say I want to create one file and I am naming it as test. Let's say output.log. Okay, so I need to open this file in read mode, and I am returning that as a file handler to this variable fh. So we will see this in detail when we go to the file handling part, but as of now you can just understand, like, I am going to redirect my output to this particular file. Okay, so I will explain these things in detail when we go to the file handling part. Okay, so open is a function for this. So I am opening this file in write mode. Okay, and this file handle will be returned to this variable fh. Okay, so I'm going to print this is for testing. Okay, so this is my data and I want to redirect the output to this particular file handle, right? So for that I have to use the file argument. I have to specify the file handle. Okay, I am specifying the file handle, and after writing it I have to close that. So I am closing that properly, and I am executing this. Okay, so if I go to this particular directory E drive Python, I should find this output file. I'm not sure where it is storing. Let me go to this directory, because from here only I ran the spider, so probably it should be in this folder. Yes, here it is. So the file name is output.log, right? So let me open it in a command prompt. dir, yes, output.log. So if I open this one, see, this is for testing. Okay, so maybe I can write something else also. Print this is to double check. Okay, I have to specify the output where I want to get the output, right? So I need to specify the file handle in the file part, or otherwise it will be printed into the console. So if I execute this again, let me close this and open it. See, whatever I am printing, right, it is going to the file. So if I don't specify this one file argument here, it will, by default it will print into the console. This will go to the console. See, this is going to the console, not to the file. See, it is not going to the file, it's going to the console, because I did not specify fh. Okay, that's all about file argument. And next one is the flush argument. So the thing is, like, when the interpreter encounters new line in a particular print function, it will print that particular data into the console or file anywhere. Okay, so if doesn't enquire a new line, it will just move the data into the buffer. So when it it receives the new line, finally it will print whatever it is stored in the buffer. Okay, that is how the print is working. Okay, so if doesn't encounter new line, it will not print. Okay, let me explain this with an example, but it will not work in this spider IDE. Let me open a new file for this. Maybe I can use the Notepad++. Here I am typing. Okay, So in order to demo this, I need to import one Python module, that is time. I will explain you about how to import the modules and what is the use of this particular module in the later session. But as of now, you don't worry. I just want to use the sleep function. That's why I want to use I want to import this particular module. Okay, so let me print hello, and I'm using flush equal to true, as well as I need to specify end is equal to empty. Okay, let me give sleep for 2 seconds, and after that I want to print world, and I'm going to use plus equal to 2. Okay, in this case you can specify end is equal to empty, or by default you can leave by default also. So I'm going to name this as, I already have one file for plus example, so let me name it as plus example 1.py. Okay, I want to open another Python, sorry, Anaconda prompt. So I'm opening the Anaconda prompt, and I have my file in this location, E drive Python. This is what I have stored, right? So I just want to execute this one. So let me specify Python plus example 1. This is what I want to execute. See, as soon as it encounters this one, right, it is printing hello, and after going for sleep for 2 seconds, it's printing world. So if I specify flush equal to false here, then let's see what happens. See, everything like the hello and world both are printed at the same time, because if you use flush here, this hello will be stored into the buffer, because here I'm not using the new line, right, as end. So it will be stored to the buffer, and after that it will go for sleep, and whenever it encounters slash n, right, that means the new line, right, it will print whatever stored in the buffer, as well as the data what is the passed in the argument for the print function. Okay, let's see how it behaves when you use end is equal to slash n. Now it will print hello, because here it receives the slash n, right? So whenever it receives the slash n, it will print the content which we are passing as the argument, as well as whatever stored in the buffer. So in this case the buffer will be empty, so it is printing whatever was in the argument, so it is printing hello. Okay, so I hope you understand the flush argument here. So going back to the slide, we have covered all these 5 arguments, right, in the print function. So this is how you can use the separator, end, and the file argument, as well as the flush argument. Okay, fine. So let's move to the next thing. So in C, you would have seen some output formatting stuffs like %d, %f, or %s, right? So %d means you are telling the compiler or interpreter, like you are going to print integer. %f means you are going to print float, and %s means you are going to print a string data. Okay, so let me go back to the IDE. So let's see, I want to print hello. Let me give some name here. So let's see, I want to give percentage hello John. Let me give John. sorry, it should be lowercase. See, whatever I am giving in the argument, it's printing that. Okay, so let's say I want to print John's age is percentage d. So age should be in integer format, right? So I'm giving, so let me give 25. So it is not compulsory when you use single data, it's not compulsory to use the parentheses, you can give straight away. Okay, so let's see how to print a float data. The total amount is percentage f dollar. So if I give 10.5, 10.5, so see the total amount is $10.50. Okay, so this is how we can do the formatting. So let me put all together. Print percentage yes $8 sorry, percentage of dollar on percentage d hyphen March 20. You can put percentage d here as well. Simply you can put 24. Okay, so we can specify the arguments. Like the first one should be name, right? So John paid $100.9 and he paid it on 10th of March. Let me print like this. John has paid $100.9 on 10 March 2024. Okay, so this is how we can use the percentage f and percentage d for formatting. Okay, so another way to format is used to the format function. Okay, the format function is used for the formatting again. So this add more readability to your code. Okay, so I can print the same content whatever here like this. Dot format, you have to use this method dot format, and you can specify the argument here John. So I can just copy paste it. See, the same thing is printed here, but here you can see the difference. So percentage f use some decimal points. So here whatever you are giving in the argument, it is just getting printed. Okay, so in to the format function you can actually specify the keywords whatever using, right? So in this case, if you interchange this argument, right, if you interchange the argument, like if the amount comes first, this will be printed wrongly, right? So the first thing should be name, and second one should be the amount, right? So sometimes you will get confused, and it is difficult to read whatever you have written, right? So in order to improve the readability, you can just use the keyword argument. Okay, so the first one I'm naming it as name, the person name, amount, and then the day. Okay, so here I'm going to specify as amount equal to this one, name is equal to this one, day is equal to this one. Now if I execute it, it will print correctly. You can use the combination of both, like the positional, we call this one as positional argument and this one as keyword argument. So you can use the combination of both, but the positional argument should come first, then only you can use the keyword argument. As I said, you should use the positional argument first. See, this one is the positional argument, this one is the keyword argument. So we have to specify the positional argument first and then the keyword argument. This one you can interchange, this one cause any issues. So this is how it works. Okay, so we have covered the positional argument, keyword argument, and the combination of both. And another one is like let's say I specify my name here. Name is equal to John, amount equal to, let's say, 100.8, let's say 935, day is equal to 10. See, I already have this data, right? So why to pass it here? I just want to use the print statement. I just want the print statement to use this data directly. I don't want to specify here. So in order to achieve this, we have to use something called as fancier output string. Okay, so this is nothing but for the print argument you have to specify the data like this. You have to use f and then the double quotes. Okay, so if you use like this, you don't need to specify the arguments externally. Okay, so here I'm going to specify the name, that's it. You can see here it's just taking whatever name is specified here, right? Let me, if I update this to Jacob and if I specify the amount as 200 and day as 20, it is updated. So you don't want to specifically provide the data as argument to the print function. You can just specify, you can just use the fanciest string to use your data by default. Okay, I hope you got what I am saying. And next thing is going to be your input function. So so far we have seen how to print the output to the user, right? And the next part is going to be how to get input from the user. Okay, for that we are going to use some function called input. So basically, if you see here, you can specify some some string data to the as input to this particular function input. And it will get the input, it will take the input from the user and it will return the data whatever it is taken from the user as string. Let me see here, enter something and I'm storing the returning data as input data. Okay, so it is prompting something, so I have to enter something, right? So I'm entering hello. Okay, so we can print the input data here. You have entered, so let me enter hello. So you have entered hello. So whatever we have taken from the user, right, that will be printed here. Let me print what is the type of, what is the data type of this particular variable input data. So probably it should be string, right? Um, we have to pass type, right. See, the data type is string. Maybe you can try entering 10, but you can see the data type is string, because by default it will return string only. So if you want, you can change the data, like you can do the typecasting. Okay, so by default it will return the string data. Okay, I think we have covered the input and output functions, like the print and input functions, right? So let me give you two exercises. Okay, so the first exercise is going to be the sum of two numbers. You can get two numbers from the user, and then you can try to add that two number and print that as an output. Okay, that is going to be our first exercise, and next exercise is going to be print the usage of input, like the print and input functions. So if you are aware of the Linux commands, right, there you use some command called man. So if you give man space any command like ls, it will display more details about that particular command, right? So it will display what is the purpose of ls command, and what are the arguments it can take. So these are all the things it can print. So like that, in Python also we have something called something to display the details about a particular function. So you just try to explore that. Maybe I will put the solution in the next video. So as of now, you just try to find the answers for these two exercises. Okay, so that's all for this session. We will wind up and we'll meet in the next video. Thank you.